Let's talk Tanya for the 21st of Tamuz. In yesterday's Tanya, we explained that the process of teshuvah entails two steps. Step number one is evoking and arousing compassion upon oneself, one's own soul, and upon God for what has the damage that has been done through the sin. And the second step is breaking the ego for the reasons we explained yesterday, that when we break the ego, we break the klipa, which allows us to extract our soul and the godly energy, the divine energy, from the clutches of the klipa. How do we break our ego? Considering everything that we've spoken up until this point, it shouldn't be too difficult. Crushing our ego and really having a broken heart when we understand the damage that we've done to ourselves and understand also the damage that we've done to God, that itself should lead us to having a broken ego. What we've done is essentially, we've put ourselves in the place of death. The Talmud tells us, there's a famous saying, Tzadikin bimisasan kriyim chayim, which means tzadikim, even after they pass away, they're considered to be alive. There's a less famous continuation to that passage, which is Rishoyim b'chayehem kiruyim esim, that wicked people, even while they are alive, they are considered dead. What does that mean? But God is life. God is the source of all life. Connection to God equals life. The verse says, Atem hadveikim b'Hashem elikechem chayim kulchem hayom. You who cleave, you who connect to God are alive. Klipa is the antithesis of this. Klipa is the opposite. Klipa is the place of death. And when we are in the clutches of Klipa because of the sins that we've done, so such a person is considered to be a dead person. Interestingly, the Alter Rebbe says, we know in Hallel there's a verse, we say, Loi hamesim yehalaluka. We say, the dead people, they can't praise God. And then we continue, but va'anachnu nevarechka, we will bless God forever. Now, if someone takes a moment to think about this, it's actually cruel. We're mocking, we're taunting the dead. You guys, you're not alive anymore. You can't come to shul. You can't praise God. You can't daven. Why would we do that? And by the way, is that even true in Gan Eden? The souls aren't busy praising God over there? The Alter Rebbe says, no. When we're saying this in Hallel, we're not talking about people who have physically passed on. We're talking about people who are alive physically. But they're considered mesim, they're considered dead because they're in the clutches of the klipa because of the sins they have done, and therefore they're incapable of praising God. Contemplating all of this definitely should lead us to a place of a broken ego, which is so important in terms of arriving at teshuvah and accomplishing teshuvah. In tomorrow's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe is going to say, okay, everything that we've spoken up until this point, that works for someone who is guilty of a sin for which the punishment is kares. That person's cut off from God. But we know most sins aren't kares. Most sins are not kares at all. They're not, they're run-of-the-mill sin. You don't get cut off from God. So is it possible to feel that compassion on one's own soul and to break the ego if a person has only done the small sins and is not guilty of a capital offense or a sin for which the punishment is kares? What is the answer to that question? That's tomorrow.